Okay, hi guys and gals. Today I am going to be giving you a final lecture before you start paper number 1, the research paper. So I'll be giving you a little presentation here, and then I'll be leaving it up to you to start writing that thing and have it done by Friday when it will be due. So I'll probably make it due Friday at 11:59, like right before midnight. That's been working out pretty good doing that. So it will be in your modules showing you when it's due, and it will have your rubric, which is steps of things that you must have in order to get 100% or whatever. However well you do each step of the rubric will determine your score on the paper. And we're also going to, this paper that you're turning in Friday, I forgot to mention, is a rough draft. So you'll be getting feedback from me about it and things you need to change, or maybe it'll be fine and I'll say just go ahead and turn it in all polished up, and then that will be the end of paper 1. So I assume by the end of next week we'll have the paper 1 done. So let's start the lesson for today. The purpose of writing a research paper. That is the first part of chapter 4. And you do need to read chapter 4. It's okay if you haven't read it yet, but when you leave this lesson today, this video lesson with me, another thing you need to do before you finish your rough draft is read the entirety of chapter 4. It is very applicable to this paper because, as you can see, it's called writing the research paper. So what is the purpose of writing a research paper? To test a theory or a viewpoint with research and present it in an academic manner using logic. That is what a research paper is. It is not a rant. It is not Twitter. It's not Facebook. It's not anything social media. It's a research paper that's supposed to reflect your ability to look stuff up and get research on things and to give a position, but in a well-reasoned way, using the Toulmin method. So what is not the purpose? Well, I've already said that. Social media ranting or inflaming, all that stuff that's going on in our society right now has nothing to do with this. And I know, because I was a 4th grade teacher for so long, I know that some teachers in your upbringing say, well, write about your summer, or write about your favorite thing to do, or write about how cool skateboards are, something like that. Those things are not trivial. I think that's really cool to do papers like that. But this is different. This is not what did you do over summer vacation. You're actually taking a warrant, which is like saying, if a person does all their classes and signs up for graduation and shows up at graduation, they will be a college graduate. Okay, that's a fact. That's called a warrant. It's the law that you made up or discovered or put together in your argument. Then your paragraphs will show that a person did each thing in many paragraphs or a few paragraphs or whatever the page length requirement is. And then at that point, when you're finished, you will have a perfect research paper. Now you'll have to have some sources too. We'll get into that. But the purpose of writing a research paper is not for entertainment. It's not for venting. It's not for a diary entry. The purpose of a research paper is to test. Look at that, test. See that word test? Do you know what that means? Do some of you go to church? I went to church most of my life. I don't go as much as I should now. But in church they say, sometimes trials are sent to test us. So what does that version of test mean? I can't say turn to your neighbor and discuss it because you're all on Zoom. But maybe one day I will try that. You could do a little chat maybe to somebody. If you want to do that, go for it. But in this case, I'll just tell you the answer. A test means a difficult, sometimes very difficult process to go through to see how you score. And that can be a written test, or in life it could be, some people say that, they were given cancer to test them, to see how patient they could be. And that's amazing when people can look at it that way. And then some people get angry about getting cancer, but the point is, it's a test. It's a test of your resolve. There's other ways we're tested. If you make a mistake, there's consequences. Those consequences are testing you. If you get a ticket and you don't pay the ticket, guess what? You fail the test, and you have a harder test of having to go to court and trying to stay out of jail and getting payment plan or something like that. So we have tests in life. This is a test of your theory. And I've had people come to me talking about all kinds of things. Prostitution. They think prostitution should be legal or illegal. They say gun violence. If we, didn't allow guns, we wouldn't have gun violence. That's obviously silly to say, but, I've had people bring me a bunch of stuff, and some of it I was able to respond to, some of it I wasn't. The point is, you have to believe it. I don't think I said that enough. I talked a lot about the other side and all that in my early lectures, but now we're getting to the point, what do you think about things? So you need to pick a theory, and it needs to be in an academic manner, and you're going to have to test yourself, guys, friends. You're going to have to test yourself. You can't just say abortion is wrong. That's not a paper. If it is a paper, you're in trouble, because that's going to be so hard to prove. You can't prove right or wrong. You really can't. You can only prove more right in your opinion. Okay? Think about that for a minute. Hopefully that will help you not be so dogmatic with people on the other side of your opinion. I'm also hoping in this class you'll back off a little bit towards people that have an opposite opinion, because guess what? There was a guy who said, famous sociologist, I can't remember his name, but I learned this in college. He said that everybody will start here at one polar, like this is my left hand, like people who start on the left side, who say an example of a left position is, gun control, more gun control. And an example of a right position is gun rights, okay, Second Amendment. So he said that it's been proven in trends, not everybody, but most people will actually move toward the center and adopt some of the other side's point of view a little bit and accept them, and then most will go to the other side and believe it and try it, and then in the course of their lives, as they get older, they'll go back. So that's interesting, very interesting. I've always thought about that. I can tell you I've gone more left. I used to be right, pretty right, until I was about in my 30s, and then I started to kind of go left. So all I'm saying is cool your jets. Cool your jets, all right? If you're just out there going for it about gun control or LGBTQ issues or anything, whatever it is, and I respect all positions, cool your jets, okay? Because as you live and as you get older, you're going to start to slow down. That's why we get fat, because our bodies slow down, our minds kind of slow down, and it's actually kind of a good thing if you play it right and get educated, because you begin to see things slowly and more clearly from the other side. So I'm hoping that will happen in some of you. That's not really why we're here, though. If it happens, I'll be happy. But if it doesn't happen, you're just going to learn to prove your point better. So either way, you win. That's why they require this course. It's a critical thinking part of your IGETC, Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. It's called IGETC. And that's what many of you will follow in your courses as you're transferring to a Cal State school or UC school or a private school. So why do people offer arguments that are not sensible? I'd like you to watch the video about fallacies, and I'll have it up the next class, which will be Wednesday. I'd like you to watch it, Okay, I'm not going to give you points on it or anything, but I think it'll really help you avoid some problems in your essay. It's really good. I looked at it. It's not perfect, but it really mostly lets you understand what the fallacies are. And these are wrong ways to make arguments. One of them, for example, is called ad hominem. So if there's a governor of a state, let's say, that his state's been having some problems, and so he asks the president for something. I'm not saying this president, just a president. And the president says, "You're a jerk, I'm not giving your state anything." That would be ad hominem reasoning. Okay, he's making the argument to the person. Homonym means people. Hominid is a person. When you're studying evolution or whatever, the development of people, you call a person, a human, a hominid. It's a step above the ape kind of a thing. So this is ad, but it's a Latin word. It's not anything political or anything like that, or religious or not religious. In Latin, the word homonym means a person. Hominem, there we go. So it's ad hominem. It's attack against the person, not the argument. Okay? And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. It's really bad. There's other ones too that you'll see in the video. So you don't have to watch that today. If you want to, it'll be up. But if you don't find it, and a lot of people are not finding things, I don't understand, because I'm putting everything up, but people are saying I can't find the questions, things like that. So for some reason you can't find it. It's really not going to be something that's due, but I highly recommend it. So I will put it up for you. But people offer arguments that aren't sensible. What do you think? Why would you say that people offer arguments that aren't sensible? Maybe because they hate the person, right? Or maybe they're racist, and maybe the person who's making the argument is another race, and that bothers them, so they attack the race. Okay, there's many reasons that people offer arguments that aren't sensible. Probably the number one thing, they don't want to be confused. They feel like they understand their argument, they've got it solid, it makes perfect sense to them, they don't want to be confused. And I think that's a very dangerous place to be. Think about it. If the counter argument has facts, wouldn't you want the facts? You can interpret them however you want, but don't you think you ought to have the facts before you make a strong opinion about something? You should. And that's why in college we seek to make a reasonable argument, and we should always respect our opponent. Okay, choosing your topic. I'm just going to fly through this because most of you have already chosen your topic, but just remember that you need to prove your point of view. And the way to do it, there's many ways to do it, but I'm going to give you an exact way to copy if you want to do it. It goes something, because the something is the thing you're talking about. Okay, let's take gun control. Gun control is necessary in a civilized society because dangerous guns exist. Laws need to regulate, and children can be killed in schools. I'm just throwing things out there, guys. You have to do the work. I can't just come up with a perfect power of 3 there. But remember that what I just said, power of 3. You need to have 3 reasons for your opinion. Okay? I'm not going to repeat that because I could go on and on about how important that is. You've got the rewind ability. So just rewind that. You need to prove your theory. You can't just throw things out there or you will not score as well. And in a minute, a couple slides, we'll get to how you're going to score. Also, define your audience. I talked a little bit about that. And I had a chapter that was about defining your audience. Very important. Drill it down. Drill down. People like to say drill down a lot in business. Yeah, you're drilling it down. You're taking it up here. You say, get my hands in here. All sports fans, idle sports fans who only sometimes go to sports, not sports fans, and then sports haters. Who are you going to pick? If you just say sports fans, that's pretty huge, But you got to drill it down to the people you're talking to. Figure it out. So this chapter on research is a resource for you. I'm requiring you to read it. And if there's things I talk about and you don't know what they are, I'm probably going to call you out and say, hey, that was in the chapter. Do you remember that? College is a lot of reading, you guys. It's a lot of reading. And, you know, I can just hear my wife saying, don't be so hard on them. So I'm not trying to be hard on you, but I'm telling you, it's my job here to get you familiar with what college is. And college is a lot of reading. I think giving you one chapter a week is like literally tiny bit compared to what you're going to get when you get to a Cal State or other school like that. But in English 101, wherever you go, that's probably what you'll get. Why? Because you're going to do a lot of writing. And up to now, we haven't done the writing. But the writing begins today. Explore the library online. Okay? Just go to the college library. You can log in with your college credential stuff they've given you. I don't know if they gave you an ID card or not, but see if you can get into that library. In the chapter, it takes you through actually how to use online library resources, and I love that. So even if you can't get into a library, just look at that. You're going to have at least one source. That's right, I said one source. If you want to have more, that's awesome. But for this paper, I just want you to look up one source and use it to prove your point of view. Excuse me. Later in the year, you will have an online assignment with the library too, so this is good practice for that. The library will give you a pass-fail grade that you'll take it online, away from me. It'll just be up to you and the library. And if you don't pass and you don't know how to research in the library, then you need it to pass my class. So we're going to have some talking if that happens. I'll just tell you, I've taught 101, this will be my third time, and everybody in the class passes. Who shows up? Some people don't bother with it, and you won't pass if you do that. So all I'm saying is you don't have to do this right now, the library right now, but you need to start exploring how do you research to get your one source. Okay, here's the rubric, and I'm also going to put this up so it'll be in Canvas. But basically, it must have a 3-part topic sentence, like I explained earlier. It must be 3 to 5 pages. You're not going to get a better grade if it's 5 pages, but if you don't have all the stuff, and you only have 3 pages, I'm probably going to say, you should have done more, and then you could have included this. Okay, you don't want. There's no reason to miss points, guys. Look at this. Look at it. Make sure you do everything. You can talk to some of my 101 kids that followed it very closely, and they got perfect scores. You know, that's why I do a rubric. So we can check, and anybody who asks can check and see that you did it or you did not do it. There's no mysterious A coming your way. If you do these things, you have a possibility of getting an A. If you don't do these things, you won't get an A. Okay, that is very fair, and those were the best classes that I had personally in college. Were the ones where they gave me a rubric. They said if you do these things, A. And usually I got an A. Sometimes I got a B. But I didn't really get very many C's in college because I always looked at it this way. Okay, revising before you turn it in on Friday. We'll talk more in our Wednesday lecture. But have a friend read it. Read it out loud into a recorder like I'm doing right now. Believe it or not, I've practiced doing this into a computer so much and done it. Not just practiced it, but done it so much. And so I know what I need to get across to you guys. If you notice, I have a much bigger picture here of my face because I got a new software. I'm really excited. I'm always trying to learn. So read it out loud into a computer, or even video yourself if you want reading it, and then go back and listen to it. Say, oh, that didn't sound right. Okay, good. That's called revising. And don't be so quick to get it done. Okay? The theory of time-space learning is what got me through college algebra. And the theory goes like this. Instead of just sitting down to do your essay and then sitting down and working for 3 hours and then being done, do it in spaces. Like, I don't know which way my hand's going. this way, this way, this way. It might be 15 minutes, or even a half hour, or even an hour. But take a break once in a while. These spikes will be your breaks. And scientists have learned that in those spikes, guess what? You retained more information. You were more effective. And those are the times that you stop to get a break, get something to drink, come back, do your work. And the theory of time-space learning got me through college algebra. But this is English, and it's the same thing. We got the same brain for either one. So I recommend the theory of time-space learning. Look it up. It's a well-known process that's been proven by science. It's better to take little bites of your work rather than try and do it all at once in a cram. It just won't be good. And you'll meet people, especially young guys about your age, who will just say, I can just knock it out. I'll knock it out in an hour. Okay. I can guarantee you it's not going to be a good paper. So don't knock it out in an hour. And I remember how my body used to feel. I ran cross country. I was a runner in high school. All 4 years I was JV. And I ran hard and I wanted to get to the finish line. But this isn't like that. If I took off fast, I'd be dying at the end. It's a 3-mile race, So at the end I'd be going, my coach would be going, Damien, what's going on? Dude, run, because I burned out at the beginning. If you sit down and try and knock it out in an hour, please don't challenge me on that. Please don't try to do that and prove me wrong, because it's almost always visible when someone does that. So instead, what I want you to do is maybe say you've got all this week until Friday at midnight. It's a lot of time. Instead of doing it all at 10:30 on Friday, do your opening paragraph today. Tomorrow, do your first 2 paragraphs or 1 paragraph. Do 1 paragraph a day. You have that many days. And then when Friday comes around, you turn in your rough draft. I read it, change it a little bit. Not change it, but suggest things. Send it back at you. And then the next week, all you have to do is open up your computer again, make the changes I said, turn it in, boom. You're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. Actually, I don't care if you pass or fail. It's not really about me being happy. What I'm happy about is when I can help you achieve your goals. And your goal, because you're in college, should be to get an A, right? I mean, everybody. Maybe some people say my goal is to get a B or my goal is to pass. Okay, those are good goals. But if your goal is to get an A, you better be ready to do it the way I'm saying. Otherwise, I cannot lie. I cannot say this person's an A when they're really a D. Okay? So, remember the rubric for that. I don't want to give you anxiety, but a little anxiety never hurt anybody. Think of a runner in a race. You think he's going, oh, taking my pulse, I need to relax. No. He's like, ready to go. He's ready to run. Or a boxer. I kind of looked like a boxer when I did that. It's so weird talking when you can actually see yourself. It's a new thing, this wonderful quarantine. Usually when I teach, you guys see me, but I don't see myself. So, yeah. But the point is, have somebody read it, tear it apart a little bit, guys. Don't make me do all the work. This is your class. So you do it. I mean, I'm happy to do whatever amount of work I need to do to help you get there, but you could get it there. You don't want to have to redo a bunch of stuff, do you? So read it to your friend, read it to yourself, read it in a recorder if you want. Most computers have a sound recorder, just start it. Or phones have sound recorder. I think they call it voice memo on the iPhone. So your rough draft will be due Friday. Wednesday will be an optional Zoom. Now listen to this. I will be here to answer questions, and I will go over some stuff I've already talked about, like the fallacies. But once your question is asked and answered, you can stay and hear other people. I recommend that. Just give yourself a cup of coffee, relax. We won't be here probably 40, 45 minutes, that's it. Unless I get a lot of students in here that need help, and then every student I give help to, that might be something you could write down as notes that will help your paper. And we're not just talking about now. We have 3 other papers. So everything that you would learn on Wednesday would be applied to those other papers to show what you have learned. And I'm excited, guys. I really am excited. It's our first paper, yeah! So I highly recommend the class, though. It is optional if you're worried at all about your ability to write to that rubric. Showing up is a sign of strength, not weakness. Still, attendance will be optional. You will need to use the time, however, to work on your paper. If I get 3 people here, fine. If I get everybody here, fine. I'm going to be here, and I'll be on Zoom, and I'll give you the Zoom to log in, but it is optional class. And that is the end of this lesson.